you went on a US tour with one of your books, didn't you, in 2013?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Tell me about that. That would be very interesting. If I heard of an author went on a US tour, I would think the guy's made it. He's done the job, you know. What was that experience like?
It was great. I mean, it was one of those kind of amazing things in my life, really, you know, because I was just invited, you know, and it just came from an email. I didn't think the email was. I think it ended up in my spam, you know, and I was like, is this guy is he trying to pull some scam? But it was right, and it was do you want to come over? We'll pay for your ticket. So I thought, great,
fantastic.
You know, and
he'd probably be wanting to make sure he didn't give too many Freemason secrets away.
Probably, yeah.
No, it is a surprise. I remember getting a similar invite. One of my books. I'm a ghostwriter, David. I don't know if you've.
That's right.
And one of my books was translated into Italian quite a few years ago now, and I got an invite to an Italian book fair, and I was told that I was going to have a translator present. They would pay for me, they would pay for my family, they would pay for a beautiful apartment, not in Tuscany, not far from Pisa. And I thought the same thing. Nobody's going to pay for me to go and do this sort of just a little bit chat, but it was true, and it was a great experience, and I'm sure your experience
it just goes to show.
was amazing. And this is what we're trying to get across at Fortis. I mean, I'm not saying we're not going to have some super duper famous interviews with the likes of Mr. Grisham or something in later years, but predominantly at the beginning of these author interviews, we're really wanting to give people an opportunity, who not you, because you've written 14 books, you're very much part of the author status, but we want to give opportunities to perhaps people that have just written one book and they haven't been published and they haven't got much publicity and that sort of thing, and that's what we're all about, really. But from your point of view, I mean, you've got a book tour under your belt. I've noticed your 5-star reviews for the new book across the boards, which is great news. One thing I was wanting to ask you, and it's a word that's bugged us a little bit. You call your book an esoteric book, intended obviously for a small audience. Now, in the grand world of book selling and becoming bestsellers, that would be the last thing I would actually ever put on publicity or a description for a book. But you're quite right. I mean, Freemasonry is not a niche area, because there's millions of Masons out there. But what led you to put esoteric on the book description?
Well, I mean, that comes from the Masonic thing anyway. You know, the esoteric side of things. That's very Masonic. I mean, the esoteric nature of Freemasonry.
I see.
Is one thing that attracts me to it. That it basically means the secrecy of it, you know, the inner secrecy, you know. And most of the stories, you know, are kind of about that esoteric nature. I mean, even in the band in the 1990s, there was certain kind of esoteric culture, you know, that was there. You know, the bands mainly kept the secrets to themselves, you know, what went on and that kind of thing. And there's an esoteric nature to playing an instrument, you know, playing a guitar, for example, you know, or a bass, you know, or the drums, you know. There's this esoteric kind of nature about it, where people are very secretive the way they've been taught to play and the way that they nurture the instrument. And there's also an esoteric culture about songwriting, and if you look at a lot of the videos these days of popular artists, I mean, it's not my kind of music, but you know, there's a lot of esoteric stuff going on in the videos, like the all-seeing eye pops up a lot, and weird.
Yes. No, I have noticed that. You might have gathered. I've got a wee bit knowledge of Freemasonry myself. I joined the craft many years ago. I only stayed in there for a year or two. It was more curiosity than anything else. But it's a very interesting concept. And again, I think from your book point of view, it's a subject that even non-Masons do want to find out a little bit more about it, and there's a very secret, dare say, some people think maybe it's a very sinister side of Freemasonry.
Yeah, that's right.
I dare say you cover a little bit of that in your book.
It's in there. Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, people's perceptions about Freemasonry, you know, the public, shall we say, who aren't Freemasons, you know, they range from completely sinister and you know, dodgy perceptions, and you know, I mean, I myself and a few other Masonic authors, you know, we discuss sometimes how we get these messages every week off people, you know, because we're all on Twitter and Facebook and things like that, and we all get these messages through, and you know, some of the things, you know, they think we're, you know, kind of plotting some kind of world domination or something far sinister, you know. You know, they just get this kind of image in the head, probably, you know. But that's happened throughout time anyway, you know. And in the 18th century, you know, they people thought Freemasons were doing witchcraft and things. And,
absolutely.
So it's always been there, you know.
Yeah, it's always been there. And where would you see, what are your expectations for the new book?
Well, the new book really was it was part kind of experimentation, really, because as I mentioned, I'd written a lot of it years before, and I was talking to a couple of authors who, and I'd mentioned this, and they said, "Oh yeah, you want to get that out, you know, you want to put it out and just see how it goes, you know." And what happened was that you probably noticed the cover. The cover was designed, painted by a surrealist artist in Germany called Jans Rusch, and he's a Freemason, and he approached me with this idea. He was going to put this book together, a bit like mine, basically, where Masonic authors contribute a fiction story about Freemasonry, and it was about this lodge and in the past, and you know, how they were up to all kinds of esoteric psychedelic things. And I thought, oh, it'd be good, that I've already got a load of stories a bit like that, you know. Anyway, his kind of project fell through. I mean, we're hoping it'll pick up at some point, you know. But then I thought, well, I'll take that idea, and he painted the portrait, and I said, well, can you use that on my book, you know? And he says, yeah, no problem.
Good stuff.
And so I went away with this project and started that and put it all together, and it took me a few weeks to assemble everything, you know.
Yeah, I was looking at it this morning. It's a great cover, but really unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the covers, that's attracted a lot of attention. They always say don't judge a book by its cover, but I think we all do, really.
Yeah, but you're quite right. You know, you have to get the cover right. You have to get the cover right, and you have to get the back blurb right. I mean, those are the two things that people look at now on the biggest bookstore in the world, which is Amazon. And is your book's available on Amazon, obviously, David?
Yeah.
Are you registered in the catalogs and things as well? Can we get it in the bookstores?
I don't think that's gone through as yet, but when
was it published?
April,
right, because it does take a while for if you register with the book catalogs, the trade catalogs, it does take 3 to 6 months really to drop into these catalogs and be available in Waterstones and that sort of thing. It's certainly something you should be exploring with the publisher. They obviously have to register it with the I think it's Nielsen book data, and then it eventually drip feeds into the catalogs, and then somebody can walk into the Waterstones, and whilst your book may not be on the shelf, they can generally get it 24 hours later. So at least they can order it in the bookstores. But it certainly looks like a great read, to be perfect.